Women say they're happy without a man because they can't get a man, they can't keep a man. Those are the women talking about stuff. Oh yeah, I'm 50, I don't need no man, I'm happy, I've never been so happy in my life. It's because you can't get a man or you can't keep a man, sis. That's why. So, and the other women hyping her up, oh yeah, women are happier now, women are happier now. You know how happy we are with our dogs? You know how happy we are with no responsibility and no man, trying to touch us and talk to us? It sounds I'm sorry, but it sounds. If men walked around and said, you know how happy we are, bro, without women trying to touch us and love up on us and be up in our face, bro, I've never been happier. That's so that is literally. So, for y'all to sit up here and to talk about how happy you are without having a male touch, without having a male in your house, about, oh, we decenter, man. This girl's so male-centered. She's so male-centered. We're supposed to be male and female centered. Y'all do know that's how all of us got here, right? We got here because people was hunching. We didn't get here because people had pets. I'm sorry. Y'all are getting on my nerves with this. Like, y'all are so annoying.
You have it? I guess the saying is true. That's why you marry somebody ugly, right? Because they do stuff like that for you. Why don't you get...
Do you know what's so crazy? I notice a lot of women get married to men they don't like or they're not attracted to. And you could just tell because they do this to certain types of men. You can kind of see how his self-esteem level is just by the way that he puts his head down. I don't see how that's funny. There's a lot of things I don't think are funny. Pranks, cheating pranks, joking about being ugly, joking about dating somebody below your average or out of your league. I just think that saying stuff like that is not funny and will ever be funny. I don't care if you're a guy or a girl. If you go out of your way to say malicious things to your partner and disguise them as a joke, over time your partner's going to start believing them. Because how many times are we going to make a joke where you're calling me ugly or saying I'm not all that? And then it's so funny? Every woman thinks this is hilarious in the comment section. But if a man was to say, oh yeah, look at your stretch marks after a baby, now it's World War III. You're going to sit there and get so mad about how he's this, how he's that. Oh, he hates you. Leave him. But if it's the other way around, it's just a little joke, huh? Women don't know how to joke. I have said this time and time again. Women will hit below the belt every single time, and it's not even a joke. They'll say things to emasculate you. They'll say things to put you down. They'll say things that'll have you keep rethinking that you're not good enough. And then these same women will complain about, oh my gosh, when my husband gets home, he sits in his car for hours. When my husband gets home, he plays the game for hours. Well, if you called me ugly and thought that was a joke and told our child that in front of me, do you think I'm going to want to hang out with you? I think instead of men going back and forth with women, especially once they've been with them for so long, I think they kind of get so tired of you guys so much and that mouth you have that they probably just sit in sorrow and go, you know what? I'm just going to leave this because there's nothing I'm going to get out of it. And do you know how many times men come to women with their problems and the woman goes and says, well, it's because of this and and they make it about themselves instead of understanding that he has feelings and emotions too? So if you're doing these type of things to your husband and you wonder why all of a sudden he doesn't want to with you no more or doesn't want to deal with you, or maybe all the credit cards that he has up, he shuts them down so you can't use them no more, or maybe all the access you had to him, he cuts that off completely, or maybe he starts talking to somebody on the side, or maybe he starts talking to a mistress. I'm not saying cheating is okay. I'm not saying that these type of things are all right. But when you treat somebody unvaluable all the time and you want to joke around a lot and disguise it as a joke, even though it's not, don't be shocked when the repercussions to that are something you cannot handle. I don't understand how it's so hard to not comprehend. If you don't want something done to yourself, don't do it to someone else. If you get bothered at your man looking at other women, talking about other women, what would make you think that you'd want to hear that you were ugly? Do you want to feel less valuable? Do you want to feel like you're not good enough? Exactly. So I think I would tread very lightly doing stupid like this. I don't understand getting in a relationship or being married if you're going to be a
this foreign girl's base.
What if I told you feminism didn't free women but actually created double taxpayers? So before, one man worked and supported one family. One tax, one household, one system. Then suddenly, government realized something insane. Wait, if women also go to work, that's 2 salaries. 2 taxes, double the income, double the spending. And somehow that became female empowerment. And here's the absurd part. Women said, I don't want to obey my husband. But now many women spend 8 to 10 hours obeying a boss who is also a man. But this time, he pays you and taxes you. And it gets even crazier. You work all day, you are exhausted, so you use the money you earn to pay a maid to do all the chores you don't have energy for. So you basically work to pay someone else to do what you used to have time for. You go to work, you get paid, and then you spend the money on help, childcare, take out food, transport, everything. So what was the point? You're working to survive the work. And at the end of the day, women go home drained, no time for children, no patience in relationships, no softness left for family because everyone is tired, stressed, disconnected. And then society says, why don't women want kids anymore? So here's the real question. Did feminism empower women, or did it just turn all of us into perfect workers in the system? And I'm not saying the old system was perfect. I'm just asking, who benefited the most? Women, men, or the government who suddenly earned twice the taxes?
Sounds like she's got it figured out. What do you guys say? So, women, would you rather be at home with your children, or would you rather be working?
You need to figure out what the f- you want. Women need to come together. I don't understand how women have a T app specifically revolved around talking about every man that they've ever dated, but they don't have an app to talk to each other about their mentality or why they think the way that they do. So how the f- do you legitimately go 5 to 10 years talking about how men need to stop being disrespectful and catcalling, and men need to respect women, and then in the same breath turn around when you're not getting validated and not getting attention and go, men are weird because they don't talk to women anymore. Men aren't men anymore because they don't approach girls. When y'all are literally the reason for that. Y'all need to start being accountable, and I know you don't know what accountability is. Men used to force you to be accountable back in the day, and they gave you way too many rights, and now you're walking around mindlessly and aimlessly, not knowing how to operate in the world. But you need to get your together. You need to know that you're a dunce, and if you don't like what men are doing, look at what women have done to cause men to be that.
Do you think, like, because you feel that you're not like a feminist or whatever, you are better than other women?
No, I don't. I'm a pretty humble person.
Do you feel that we hate men?
A lot of what you're saying does seem like man-hating behavior.
I mean, I do think men suck. I think a lot, because of the patriarchy, a lot of men have arrogance and they mistreat women. Do you agree?
No, I don't agree.
So you think men don't mistreat women?
I do not think that a majority of men mistreat women.
So
I do not.
Why do you think there are phrases like, ugh, men suck?
Because I think women are petty and dramatic.
Okay, so just because like you're going against other women doesn't mean like men are gonna choose you.
I'm not a pick-me. I'm married. I'm already sold. I'm off the streets.
The streets?
Yeah, where all you are.
So you think because I'm not married, I'm on the streets and I like really need a husband?
You're really bitterly and desperately single, yes. You're obviously not happy. Your attitude does not scream, I'm happy and I love my life.
Do you think like because you feel that you're not like a feminist or whatever, you are better than other women?
No, I don't. I'm a pretty humble person.
Do you feel that we hate men?
A lot of what you're saying does seem like man-hating behavior.
I mean, I do think men suck. I think a lot, because of the patriarchy, a lot of men have arrogance and they mistreat women. Do you agree?
No, I don't agree.
So you think men don't mistreat women?
I do not think that a majority of men mistreat women.
So
I do not.
Why do you think there are phrases like, ugh, men suck?
Because I think women are petty and dramatic.
Okay, so just because like you're going against other women doesn't mean like men are gonna choose you.
I'm not a pick-me. I'm married. I'm already sold. I'm off the streets.
The streets?
Yeah, where all you are.
So you think because I'm not married, I'm on the streets and I like really need a husband?
You're really bitterly and desperately single, yes. You're obviously not happy. Your attitude does not scream, I'm happy and I love my life.
Your thoughts on the following statement. Dating for women is like shopping, while dating for men is like a job interview that he's paying for.
Yeah.
Can you explain that?
We feel like they're runner-ups and contestants.
If women have an abundance of choices, would women ever enter an arrangement where they weren't knowingly in control?
No.
So if women are the choosers, how are men the leaders?
Good question.
Very good question.
How can men lead if it's by women's terms?
I have no clue.
Are men leading when they subject themselves to rejection at a woman's discretion?
No.
So then why do we say that men are leaders when women are in control?
We want you guys to lead while we're still in control.
Thank you for being honest.
And she spoke right there. She spoke. And at least she did take accountability. It's, you know, modern women, they like to say we don't have any privilege. The men have all of the privilege. We have to work a lot harder than they do. There is nothing that we have that gives us the upper hand in this world. But then they come on shows like this and they have to admit, like I said before, great questioning. They have to admit, yeah, we do have not just privilege, but we have a lot of privilege. Actually, this is what we expect of men. When you put it a certain way, we are expecting men to do a lot of complicated stuff. We are expecting men to kind of guess, you know, do they want this? Well, we'll just read my body language. That's a very, like, I can see here and there when you don't feel like talking, but modern women practice this sort of read my body language and see if I want to talk to you today sort of thing. It's very immature long term, but that's what they expect out of a man. Well, a leader would know how to read his people. No, not always. A leader could, at some point in time, read body language, but he would also ask questions so he could get to know the person that he's leading. And if the person that he's leading does not cooperate with him, how can he get that far? He can't. But modern women don't think of that. They have a warped understanding of what leadership and cooperation actually is.
I think that's deeply concerning is that, like, all of the older women, when I say older, like 50 plus, are strongly passionate about younger women, 20s, 30s, not getting married. It's like you can see your future and they're telling you exactly what...
You know what I find interesting? When you listen to married women speak about marriage and married men speak about marriage, this is typically what they say, right? The man usually says, she's always nagging and nothing I ever do is good enough, right? And then you listen to a woman who's married and she complains about the marriage and she always says he doesn't do enough. Now, y'all remember that lady who got on here and who was complaining about how she almost divorced her husband because he didn't put the dishes in the dishwasher after coming home from work? But here's the thing. She stayed at home. Right? And then you hear this other topic about if your husband got off of a 12-hour shift, right? 12-hour shift at work. She feels like she should be able to hand the baby over to her husband after he gets home from his 12-hour shift. Because she wants time to relax. Now, everybody's saying, well, he still needs to be a father. Okay, cool. Let's switch the roles. Let's say you were working a 12-hour shift at the factory, at the warehouse, at the construction site, right? You get home after 12 hours. Your husband is a stay-at-home father. When you walk through the door, your husband hands you a baby. Sounds silly, doesn't it? Because it's silly. He works for 12 hours, sleeps for 8. 12-hour work, sleep 8. That's 20 hours out of 24. He has 4 hours to himself. And 2 of those is getting ready for work, going to work, and coming back. So dude has 2 hours. 2 hours. And you can't even give him 30 minutes when he walks through the door? I know what the problem is. Women are never content. Like, there's never enough. Like, they never have enough. That's why men always complain, nothing I ever do is enough. Women will complain, he's the greatest man I've ever met. He's great, but it's still not enough. Listen to what a woman who's been married complains about. It's always she wants what? More. What does a married man complain about? It's never enough. So yes, you'll be completely miserable in your marriage if you don't learn contentment.
Okay, normally I don't like to gas men up for doing like normal people things, but
exhaustion. The word of the day is exhaustion. It is a state of mental, physical, or emotional tiredness where a person has little to no energy left. Few discretion advised.
it is so sexy when a man pays in cash, all right? I feel like we have an epidemic of men using Apple Pay, which is for the girls, all right?
It's only been about 8 seconds, but I'm pretty sure y'all can understand why I chose the word exhaustion as the word of the day. Shorty got on here and said that there's an epidemic of men using Apple Pay. Like the world around us isn't becoming more digital. Fun fact, they discontinued pennies last month. They are no longer making any more new pennies. Whatever is left is what's left. That's how it starts. Before you know it, it's nickels, dimes, and quarters. And before you know it, the American dollar. Everything is going to be digital. But somehow in her brain, there's an epidemic of men using Apple Pay.
At this point, for a guy to pick up the check for like 2 margaritas and 3 tacos, he's having to do the wrist. And I just like can't be subjected to it, okay? He's paying and I'm like, do we have to pick up his prep on the way home? What's going on?
People like this do not deserve to get on the internet. So now you must insult his sexuality because he paid with his own money on his phone. She called it the wrist and then insulted him further by saying, do we have to pick up his prep on the way home? By the way, prep is medication for HIV. Correction, HIV preventing medication, which in turn says that he either backdoors men or gets backdoored by men, which also says there's a higher chance he may or may not contract it. This is just wild. This is crazy. So not only is she homophobic and flat out disrespectful to that community, she said all of that just because a man decided to pay with Apple Pay. Think about that for a second.
Listen, I get it. I don't know why it's sexier for me to see a man hold a bunch of dollar bills that were probably in a stripper's earlier in the week than it is for me to see him put his card down. But I think it has something to do with the female brain and how I'm primarily like, oh my God, he gets his hands dirty. Like something like that, okay? Closest I'll ever get to seeing a man get his hands dirty in these days. You know what I mean? But yeah, pro tip to my men out there, all right? If you want to tap that, maybe stop tapping this.
If you want to tap that, maybe stop tapping this. And that this would be your phone to pay for whatever it is that you acquired. Ladies, I could get in the comments and just tell her to shut the up, but it will never hit harder than if y'all would tell her that. Because if I say it, she's just gonna think I'm just a man trying to hate on her and, you know, men hate women, blah, blah, blah. But if y'all tell her to shut the up, yeah, it's definitely gonna resonate a little differently. I can almost assure you she would never make another video like that. This is y'all time to shine, ladies. But you know, deep down, I know a lot of y'all ain't gonna listen to what I'm saying, because I'm just a normal guy. Y'all keep the change.
I'm 100% sure that I am not the only man that is noticing this, but as we continue to move forward into a new year and time progresses, there becomes more of a lack of real men. Men no longer want to do the things that required a real man to be doing. Men don't want to get their hands dirty. Men don't want to cut no grass. Men don't want to build homes from ground up no more. Do things that comes with the blood, the scars, you feel me, the pain, the hard work, the dedication, the things that pay off in the long run. You can't even tell these men to go change a tire no more because they don't even know how to do that. Real men don't even know how to change oil. Like, it's getting sad as they focusing on things that women are focused on. Aesthetics, trying to look cute, stand in groups together, do family, be at concerts screaming for men. Like, we don't operate that way. We don't move that way. Who the gonna take care of nowadays? Who the gonna fix vehicles nowadays? Who gonna get grass cut nowadays? Who gonna be the one to count on when some real need to be taken care of nowadays? If a home need to be built, who gonna do it? If a home need to be held down and taken care of in a proper way, in a masculine way, who's gonna do it? Because it's like nowadays, all these men are trying to be the women. And I don't understand it. And I'm not feeling it. Where's the masculinity? Where's the testosterone? Because it's like it's going with a lot of them.
Y'all want to know the real reason why no one likes to club anymore and why clubbing culture is dead? Well, surprise, surprise, the reason is men, but let me tell you why. As it's been established, men aren't real men nowadays. They don't like being gentlemen, they don't like being courteous, and they don't like women very much. The other day, me and my friends were at a beach club and we were at the bar waiting to buy our drinks because, you know, we're strong, independent women and we don't want men to buy our drinks, but if someone offers, why not? So these two men come up to one of my friends and they go, hey, like, do you mind if we cut in line? We're just getting 2 drinks. Oh, whoa, wait. We've been waiting here. Sure, you guys can cut us in line, like, but are you guys gonna get us our drinks? He was just like, no. And then I was like, oh. So then why the did you ask? Move then. What happened to ladies first? What happened to clap? And then this man has the audacity to try hitting on my friend who didn't even buy her a drink. What makes you think you could talk to her? All of these men will get in and they'll just stand there. They won't even dance. They'll just stand there and just look at women. Just being full on monitoring spirits. Like, just stood there like, oh no, the girls should come up to us. No! Men will go out in big groups and they won't get tables. They won't buy bottles. A lot of these clubs aren't making money anymore. So now a lot of them are charging girls too. The reason why you're still open is because we are in your establishment. 9 times out of 10, when we come out, it's not fun anymore anyways. So why the are we spending money to not even have fun? That's why I think clubbing culture is done. I'm more of like a lounge, speakeasy type girl now. We're not doing that in 2025 anymore.
The greatest threat to women is men.
If men as a group were inherently harmful, then there would be no men defending women from other men.
Yeah,
Have you heard of a
men get a lot of flack, but I think when it comes to acts of bravery, acts of heroism, men are very much overrepresented there. When you see some like natural disaster, you look at the flooding that happened in Texas, it's a man carrying some old grandma. It's a man going into the rushing waters and grabbing a dog, or a man saving kids, or a man saving women. You need to balance your men are so horrible in all these ways. What about male bravery? What about male courage? What about I don't know why you're lying. Almost all the vast majority of acts of bravery and courage and life-saving and emergency saving, it's men. Where's the gratitude there? What about just the plumbers? I mean, literally, no pun intended, would hit the fan if we didn't have people, it's almost men, who do the dirty, dangerous, gross, hazardous jobs. When it's snowstorming and there's a catastrophic breakdown in the power grid failure or utility pole collapses or whatever, it's not some 5'2" woman going out at 3 a.m. in the snow, in the rain, in the hazard. It's a man who's going to get that back on. And there's a complete lack of gratefulness for the sacrifices men make and how men really, you don't like to hear it. I get it. You don't like to hear it.
I think there was a guy that was talking about what happened to all the masculinity, and these guys are acting like women. They're not worried about being able to change a tire. They're not worried about being able to change oil and all that stuff. I mean, you have insurance. I mean, why pay for insurance if you're just going to do it yourself? I could see if you was out on the side of the road, you didn't really want to wait, but I get insurance, so the insurance can do it, so I don't have to. I don't understand the obsession of saying that a man is not a man because he decides to use the options that he's paying for. I mean, my God, why would I buy a home or a car with AC if I'm just going to walk around the house with fans on all day? What's the reason for me having AC? For what if I'm not going to turn it on? I can understand, okay, sometimes, it's pretty cool out. We don't really even need the AC. Open the door. And just turn the fans on, open the door, open the windows. It's cool out. Let some fresh air. You do that every so often. That's fine. But we have AC. You know what I mean? They really want men to be sleeping on the floor instead of sleeping on the bed. Why would I do that? It hurt my back. There's no reason for that at all. If I take care of it, okay, let's say I do all of that. I change a tire. I know how to change oil and all that stuff. Can I still worry about my looks? Is that okay with you? Could I still go in there and play games? Is that okay? Could I not do both as a man? Could I say, I decided to save a little money and change my oil. I really don't have the time, but I do have the money. Let me take about one of these shops and let them change my oil. Is that okay with you? Is it okay for me to say, you know what? Let me go up here to Costco or Sam's Club or Walmart. They can change a discount tire. If that's what you have in your area, change my tires. I'll pay them to do it because they specialize in that. I don't get it. I don't understand it. You don't have to be an expert in everything. That's not part of being a man. Part of being a man and part of being a leader is, you know some stuff. You don't need to be ignorant. You can watch and, if you're saying that men need to be more curious about things, then say that. But to be sitting out here talking about because a man doesn't do something certain, because maybe you don't have the expertise, how does that make him any less masculine? What are we doing here, man?
A good man isn't soft. He is not convenient, and he sure is not always available for you. A real good man has discipline, he has boundaries, and he has priorities of his own that do not shift based on her mood. And guess what? He's not bending his values just because she's upset.
That's exactly
A
what I
good
was
man is not
thinking.
controlling. He creates the order. He doesn't want chaos, arguments, or drama. He wants respect, clarity, and peace.
Yeah.
And this is where women get it confused. When she's never met a mature man, she will mislabel everything. She'll call him cold because he doesn't
Narcissist.
tolerate any nonsense.
Yeah.
She'll call him selfish because he takes care of himself. And she'll call him narcissistic because he
Oh,
refuses
called
to
it.
beg for approval.
Oh, yeah.
But that's not selfishness. That is maturity. A man who refuses to be drained, used, or manipulated. Good men do not move from insecurity. They move from conviction. They will not ever chase drama. They do not chase attention. And they sure as hell don't chase validation from women. They build, they lead, and provide structure. And here's a harsh truth. Most women aren't even ready for the responsibility that comes with being with a good man.
Right.
Because a good man isn't an emotional roller coaster. He is not unpredictable, and it's not a game. He is stable, extremely consistent, and has direction.
Right.
And for women addicted to chaos, wounded by the past relationships that they were in, or raised by dysfunction, stability feels boring until she loses it. A good man requires partnership. He requires respect and requires a woman who is emotionally regulated, not reckless with her emotions. That's why so many men get mislabeled. It's why mature men get misunderstood. But stay solid, because good men do not bend, they build, and the right woman will rise to meet with him.
She asked me if I date for marriage. I said, listen, I date for love. I'm only going to experience life one time. Why would I deny myself the pleasure of love? You know, I don't think anybody's on their deathbed saying, I wish I loved less. So yeah, it's not about marriage. It's not about a title for me. It's not about labels. It's about love. I was in Dooneyland. 2 hours later, I was in the shit.
I want y'all to understand that these are the master manipulators that these women be talking about. Buddy sat down and told Shorty a whole bunch of nonsense for, what was that, like almost a minute? And in her mind, she was like, you know what? I asked this man if he dates for marriage. He basically told me, nah, I just want to bust some cheeks down, but in a sweet way. She thought, you know what? He's probably a good guy. After Buddy cracked, I guarantee she said that he was some type of master manipulator. No, he wasn't. You were just dumb. Like, this isn't master manipulation. Dude just said a bunch of nonsense and you wanted to believe it. Cause I'm sure out there somewhere, there was some woman out there listening to what he was saying, was like, he's just chatting a bunch of nonsense. But the majority of y'all want to believe it. Like, you want, like, if I asked a woman, right, say I'm dating to marry, right? And I asked a woman, hey, do you date to marry? And she was like, you know, it's not about marriage. It's about love and experiences and being the best that we can be with each other. And da da da. I'm gonna be like, so no, like, what are we talking about? You just chatting a bunch of nonsense. I'm gonna be sitting there like, oh my gosh, here she go. These dudes aren't smart. They had a 1.5 GPA in high school and college. And we're talking about, oh, he manipulated me so well. If you got manipulated by an idiot, what does that make you? What does it make you?
6 feet, 6 inches, and 6 figures. I have just learned about this. I'm shocked. Why do y'all need a 6-foot man? I'm 6 foot and I don't need a 6-foot man. The average, y'all are like 5'5". Why do you need a 6-foot man? To do what with? Like, he's bigger than you, more than likely. Even if it's only by a couple inches, it'll be okay. And if he's not, that's still okay too, trust me. And 6 inches. Kegels, that's what I would suggest. And, you know, because if the hole's small enough, everything will be fine. And as far as 6 figures, I don't know, maybe spend less money or maybe get a job yourself.
I honestly don't know how men do it. The list that every woman has for her man is never ending and always changing. And most men will happily navigate that entire list if his balls are empty, his belly's full, and he's feeling pretty good about himself. But there are so many women that I know who want all of the perks and none of the work. But it doesn't work that way. It's a two-way street. Everyone's got to get something out of the deal.
I have to say I feel sorry for some of you men out there in the dating world because it is 2025. I'm a 38-year-old female, and these women out here even confused me. Some women out here putting Jesus in their bio, but then you go look at their stuff and it's nothing but thirst traps, lustful, seductive content. And I've said it before, but a lot of women have this long laundry list of unrealistic criteria that they want in a man, but yet they bring nothing to the table.
Maybe you've heard the concept of the 3 6s: 6-pack, 6 feet tall, 6 figures. Do a mental inventory of everyone you've dated. If you're in a relationship right now, or if you're in a marriage, okay, consider this. Does this man have 1, 2, 3, or 0 of these 6s? Think back to the people that I have dated, and yeah, some of them have been over 6 feet for sure. Some of them have had 6-packs. Okay, I live in the Midwest. I've never dated anyone that's made more than 100K. If heterosexual women did hold up to this standard, there wouldn't be a lot of them in relationships.
I'm not talking to guys like you.
What the
What do you mean?
shot?
No, I'm saying like you're not in
let's
my
get the other
circle.
girl in here. What's her name? Melissa. Alright, thank you, Kazumi.
That's not rude, that's unbothered. And if you haven't taken a page out of this man's book, you ought to look at it. Men are so done. Men across the board are so done. They're not begging, they're not chasing, and they're not changing. If you don't like them, see you later, bye. Done are those days where women can manipulate, play emotional games, and do whatever psychological, emotional manipulation that they want to try. Because it's just not working anymore. The emotional intelligence has just escalated, so the game is seen. They see the game. So all of you out there who are still thinking that you can manipulate, the majority of men are already at the, yeah, I'm good. They see your red flag a mile away. Insert clip here.
This is how you with a man's head, but in a way that gets him hooked and makes him fantasize about you. And before I give you the step-by-step guide, don't be telling me in the comments how toxic this is, because baby girl, this is what it's intended to be. You have to make him suffer. You have to humiliate him. They fall in love with you when they're terrified of losing you. You have to stop lying to yourself, because you truly think by being sweet and kind and reassuring that he's gonna obsess over you. In reality, it makes you forgettable and how to have the upper hand and get into his head without even saying a single word. I messed up worse than I thought. Am I losing her? That right there is what you want to trigger. That right there is how you get into a man's head.
You have women out here right now teaching how to use dark psychology to get a man. And men are watching this and literally being like, you know, we can see this too, right? So then we know what to look for and what not to date. But anyway, keep making your videos because it's also showing the men who the not to date. Please keep showing us your red flags. Unbothered.
So you're allowed to say everything that's wrong with men, but if I want to say about something that I've seen that's wrong with women, because for so many reasons, from propaganda, from media, from what feminism has poisoned us with, and I'll say something like, I've seen women be horrible to me, or to one another, and I've witnessed some demonic stories, and like I said, it's not that she's jealous, it's that she's envious, and she wants to take away what you have, not because she wants it for herself, simply because she doesn't want to see you be happy. The concept of seeing someone else happy short circuits her brain. And I do think that women can be so vicious and so aggressive, and especially when it comes to gossip and reputation, that's their arsenal of choice, right? But I'm not allowed to say this. And it's not me painting a brush that all women are horrible. I've seen some gorgeous divine women, but 1 in a million. The majority is not so fine and dandy and great. But I'm not allowed to say this. They'll deem me as a pick-me or all these horrible things, or as a misogynist or a woman hater or whatever it is. But it's so easy in the same breath to say, but not all men, but always a man. I'll tell you what, not all women, but always a woman. There's always a woman in my comments. Always.
The lack of self-reflection in the Black community really does need to be studied.
Decent! Mind you, decent is the new standard, and it's fucking sad, bitch.
You would think that when you see a video that is talking about an epidemic of single women, that those women would then take the time to reflect, like, hey, what is it that we're doing that all of us are here single?
Where are the men? Where are the men?
Too many women are following in the footsteps of other women that have led to their singleness, assuming that it's not going to lead you also to singleness.
To put up with this, I don't mean some of us are happy with being single.
We know a lot of y'all aren't happy with being single. If we're trying to get a man and that man does not want us, but all these other ones do. That's because those men are on your level, babe. And the one up there isn't.
When y'all see a good man, y'all want him. That's another issue we'll get into another video.
Why do we have to get into that in another video? Why can't we get into that right now?
You know, one thing you can count on is these modern women playing a lot of stupid games. Playing a lot of stupid games and winning a lot of stupid prizes. Hey, this is what you do to manipulate him. This is what you do to get his attention. And you do it, and it works for a little while, but then it doesn't work anymore. Because you got his attention, but you don't know what to do with it. And so you don't, you know, modern women, if they were really smart, they would be able to catch a man's attention and then say, man, finally, man, I didn't know what I needed to do to get this. I mean, I had to do something. So I got his attention, but how do I hold it? They focus on the front part of, okay, how do I get this man to even look at me? And they don't worry about who they actually are as people. They don't worry about their character. They think, man, all I really need to do is get a guy to look my direction and the rest will take care of itself. I'm so good looking. I'm so important. I'm so interesting. I mean, just look, just glimpse, just take a glimpse. Look at me out of the side of your eye. Just a glimpse and everything will take care of itself. I mean, he looked at me because that's going to be their story. He looked at me and that was the end of that. That's what their thing is going to be. Their story is, but it's not. You get the man to look, he buys you a drink, and that's it. That's how far the night goes because you're not that interesting of a person.
At no other point in human history have women had more freedom, have had more rights, have had more privileges, have had more comfort, have had more access to education, have had all these benefits. And it also correspondingly and coincidingly, at no other point in human history have women had more hatred, more contempt for men. At no other point in human history have women been less grateful for the bounty which is almost exclusively bestowed upon you by benevolent men.
What are we talking about?
You say, well, women are oppressed. Women have equal rights to men. Women have more freedom. They have more choice. They have more privilege, more benefits, more comfort. Almost all the comforts that you and I enjoy is because of the genius and the labor of men.
Oh, goodness.
It's look, everything you take for granted.
Oh, my God.
Everything you take for granted, I'm telling you.
On today's Ask a Married Man, I want to ask you, is it a red flag if a woman describes herself as independent?
Like an independent, I'm an independent woman, like that. That is, that's absolutely a red flag for a lot of men. But let's break it down this way. There's the definition of independent woman, and then there's practice, how it shows up in public. So the definition of an independent woman is just simply being self-sufficient, paying for your own car, you got your own job, house, all that stuff. That's completely fine. Men don't have an issue with self-sufficient women. The issue becomes when you sort of idolize your independence or you're hyper independent, like nobody can help you with anything. Nobody can do anything for you. That becomes an issue because couples are supposed to be a team. A family is supposed to be a team. So if you're coming in like me, and I want to make sure I have space in this team for just me, my own time, that's what independent woman feels like. So in practice, I would say it's absolutely a red flag if a woman constantly or even periodically refers to herself as an independent woman. It absolutely is. Does that shock you to know that men see that as a red flag, or have you heard that before?
I've heard of it before. I think Neo got women hyped up with his song,
that is
Independent
true.
Women.
That is true.
Miss Independent,
and this,
that's how I like it.
And this happens with culture, Black culture, a lot. In particular, it comes out in the song, and then that's to the masses, tell them, oh, this is what people want. And that song came out, Miss Independent Women was singing this all day, and they didn't understand that. Oh, no, we're not particularly interested in that particular woman. And you have to look at it from the point of view of Neo. If you're a cajillionaire, if you have millions and millions of dollars, yes, you probably want somebody to come in that's a lawyer, that's somebody that's not going to come in, mooch off of you, and then take you to court for all your money. A person like that might have a different sort of calculus.
Dad, what does it mean for a woman to submit to a man? See, so it's a very controversial topic, Arya, okay? Because women like to do things their own way nowadays, and they don't want to submit to a man because they think that makes them lesser of a woman to submit to a man. Men are like an umbrella, and the world is like a thunderstorm. And women can either go out into the thunderstorm and get completely soaked and drenched, or
They can go under the umbrella.
What?
Or they can go under the umbrella.
Exactly, or they can go under the umbrella. What a lot of women have a hard time realizing is that that umbrella is only useful to cover and protect her from the storm if she holds it up, right? So if a woman wants to be protected by the covering of a man, she has to then submit underneath his covering and protection. But some women have a hard time with ego and pride that they don't want to be underneath another man. But what they fail to realize is that the umbrella can't be used for its intended purpose without the woman holding
The umbrella?
correct. What good does an umbrella do if you just hold it out to the side?
Nothing.
Nothing, exactly. But so many women want to be equal to men. They don't want to be underneath men, that they hold the umbrella out to the side, wondering why they can get drenched in the storm. But the way to be protected by the covering is to submit to being underneath it. Does that mean that the woman is less? No, it doesn't. Because guess what? The umbrella can't do its job without the support of the woman. Right? So men need women to support us so that we can cover them and protect them from storms. Here's the caveat to that. Men have to be full of integrity. Otherwise, even if a woman holds that umbrella up, she's still going to get drenched by the holes in the umbrella.
I slapped out of you? That's disrespectful as
There comes a time where you got to really simplify it for a motherfucker to understand what you're really trying to say. Your discretion is advised.
It'd be wrong if I slapped out you, right?
This is where double standards come into play. That's like,
If a lion farted in your path, would you slap the shit out of a lion? No, because you know the lion's stronger than you. Don't hit me. If I'm so much stronger than you, if I'm a man, then don't hit me because your feelings hurt.
Now, the topic at hand is men and women putting their hands on each other. To start this off, I don't think anyone should be putting their hands on anyone. But in this situation, the young lady is trying to justify a woman hitting a man. She is saying it is a double standard because a woman hitting a man is not the same as a man hitting a woman. And the reason is different is because men are naturally stronger. And her co-host is saying, well, if we are stronger, why would you ever hit a man? Because, if he ever decides to hit you back, it's over with. Now, I've been on record saying that men aren't as dangerous as women say we are. And the reason for that is because women will actually hit a man. If a man is as dangerous as you say he is, you wouldn't dare. And I think the reason a young woman would do something like that in that moment is because she understands that, number one, there's a consequence to him doing that. Number two, a lot of them don't actually think that man will hit them back. Number three, we were taught at a very young age to never hit a woman back, even if she hits us. And number four, last but not least, that a man has a very high level of compassion and self-control in a lot of those situations, contrary to popular belief. Now, the young man uses a wonderful example. He says, if a lion farted in your face, would you hit the lion? Knowing what the lion is actually capable of. I don't know anyone personally that would hit that lion because we are fully aware of how much danger that lion can impose on us. And so in turn, there's a certain level of respect that you have for that lion because you know what that lion is capable of. Which also says if a woman ever puts her hands on you, she don't respect you at all. I say all that to say, as a woman, it is never a good idea to put your hands on a man. If you are not doing that out of self-defense, actual self-defense, not why I feel some kind of way so I gotta hit him. I'm talking about, oh, he's trying to hit me or he's trying to hurt me of some sort. Putting your hands on a man is a possible wish. There are some men out there that don't hold back when it's time to fight. The moral to the story is, ladies, don't put your hands on men, and men, don't put your hands on the ladies. The altercations between both genders have never been proven to solve anything. And for my fellas in particular, if you ever feel like you're even about to get to the point of doing that, you better leave immediately. And I'm not saying for the night. Leave the relationship entirely. Yeah, keep the change.
I always see guys complain online saying, oh, these girls are like, she cheated on me, she did all these trifling things. And I'm like, which girls are you dating? Where are you picking these chicks? Like, what the fuck? But then I do a little bit of research and I realize the kind of you guys are picking, they're horrible. So I'm going to give you some tips on how to avoid picking those kinds of girls. So a good way to tell that a girl is used to talking to a lot of guys is when you guys start talking, or at least what you think is talking. She's just beginning the game. She's playing the hot and cold game extremely strong. Like, if you can't have a real conversation where both of you are in the chat, if you're talking on Snapchat, you're already cooked. But let's just say over text, if you guys can't actually hold a conversation where you're both in the chat speaking, she does that for maybe like 5 minutes and then she dips and then she comes back and she's like, oh yeah, sorry, this and this and that. Already a bad sign. These girls are talking to everybody. And I know it sounds like I'm making a snap judgment, but trust me, you are being tested. She wants to see how you react to you being on the ropes. Another one is to check her social media activity. If her tagged is full of her at all of these social events with random people, especially a lot of guys and friend groups with guys, that's not a good sign. She already has people in her life that she's probably considering dating or being with, or she probably has already been with them. So why would you want to get in on territory that you don't really know? You don't know where her head is at. She could be with her sneaky link, but then she's still caught up on her ex-boyfriend, but she's talking to this new guy. These situations are extremely messy. If you are a self-respecting guy, you would not want to be caught in that. Last tip. This is similar to the last thing I said. Check her social media activity. If you look at her reposts, and her reposts are full of man-hating videos, right? Videos where women are clearly not taking accountability. That's a really frequent one where they're like complaining posts of girls being like, oh, well, he can't treat me right. And men don't know how to do this. Like those generalized posts. If she's reposting a lot of them, just know that that's a red flag. I understand being in situations where people end up wounded or they're tainted from their past, but if she fully believes in some of these generalizations about men, she will justify any wrongdoings that she does toward guys because she thinks that it's justice. But yeah, those are my tips. I'm a relationship guru. I know what I'm talking about. Comment if you want more. Okay, love you. Bye.
And I think on the clip where Ask a Married Man, he made a good point. A lot of men don't really care if you're strong and independent, but it filters into not being able to play on a team. Essentially, you don't know how to be a part of a team. That is what it comes down to. You might be doing your thing when you're single, whatever it is. Oh, I go to bed at I don't know, 8 o'clock. I have all my chores done at 3 o'clock. Dinner's on the table by 5 o'clock, whatever it is. But that's you. You only have to worry about your own schedule. When you come together as a team, they have other things that they need to do. So dinner might not get on the table until 7 o'clock, right? You might go to bed at 10 o'clock, or you might go to bed at 8 o'clock, but your significant other has other things to do. So they might go to bed at 12 o'clock. You just never know. Now you say, well, I really wanted to lay in the bed and watch TV and cuddle with you. Then they make time for that, but they still might have other things to do after you go to sleep, right? So you're learning how to give and take, and you're learning how to meet each other's needs, because that's what I got into the relationship for. I have other things outside of, myself that I would like somebody else to take care of. But that's what I'm giving up. I'm giving up maybe, my routine of going to bed at 8 o'clock, having dinner on the table by, 5 o'clock, to now dinner's on the table by 7. I go to bed at 10, and whatever it is. It's just an example. But these are things that I do now, or I don't do, because now I have a partner and we have two different schedules. So a lot of that independence, or I can be independent, I don't need a man sort of thing, kind of goes out the window. It doesn't mean that you can't do things for yourself. It just means that attitude of exclusivity, like not being, or I should say, pushing somebody away, that attitude has to die down.